Los Angeles. And in sport, Nigeria's Quadri Aruna opens 2025 with World Table Tennis Star Contender Series in Doha, Qatar. Now the details. I am Dele Agadumo. Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu has charged the Nigerian Postal Service, NIPOST, to use technology as an enabler to enhance the ease of doing business in the state and Nigeria. Governor Sanwo-Olu said this when he received the Postmaster General and Chief Executive Officer of Nigerian Postal Service, NIPOST, Tola Odeyemi, at the Lagos House Marina. The governor urged the Postmaster General and Chief Executive Officer of NIPOST to challenge the status quo and eliminate bureaucracy, which would bring about a sustainable change to make the ease of doing business in the country better.
My charge to you, and with all due respect, is really to be critical of this assignment and to ask difficult questions. How relevant is my role and the things that we're doing? How relevant is it for today and for the future? What are the things that we need to drop off? What are the things that we do not need to carry on again? And how can we position, this agency or this ministry or this office to meet the needs and the reality of it? And you're mentioning, if your point of contact with us is the Ministry of Innovation, Science and Tech.
Governor Sanwo-Olu said his administration will collaborate with the office and service centers to improve its physical spaces, enhance e-commerce, as well as movement and sale of goods to be able to compete favorably. Earlier, the Postmaster General, Chief Executive Officer of NIPOST, Tola Odeyemi, commended the state government on its giant strides in various sectors, including governance, infrastructural development, diaspora travel, especially in December, calling on the state to partner the office on building a 21st century economy promoting cultural heritage and transformation.
So as Postmaster General, one of my primary goals is building a NIPOST of the 21st century that would enhance efficiency, that will support economic development, and bring back NIPOST to the relevance that it was in this rapidly evolving world. And of course, Lagos State as the center of commerce in sub-Saharan Africa is my biggest stakeholder in this journey.
That was Postmaster General, Chief Executive Officer of NIPOST, Tola Odeyemi. Residents of Ikeja GRA are set to host the Lagos State Governor, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, who will be in the neighborhood to open a network of 5 roads. In a statement, the Commissioner for Information and Strategy, Bengal Motosho, says it is all part of the government's infrastructure renewal projects across all local governments and local council development areas. Motosho notes that the strategic roads in the heart of Ikeja, Obadosumo Street, Oduduwa Way, Oduduwa Crescent, Shobo Arobiodu and Shashibon Streets are about 6.134 kilometers, fortified with an improved drainage network that solves the perennial flooding in the area. He says on Friday, January 10, about 4.7 kilometers of arterial roads will be inaugurated along the Akoka, Bariga and Bagada axis. They are St. Fimbers Road, Ashani Road, Tijani Ashogbo Street, Jagomolu Street, Shogbamu Street and Dia Street from the University of Lagos main gates in Akoka to Deeper Life Church in Bagada. He urges residents to cooperate with the government to make the infrastructure serve the masses by protecting the projects from vandals. Lagos State Commissioner for Physical Planning and Urban Development, Oluyinka Olumide, has urged residents to report infractions anywhere in the state. He made the call in an Alsa during a strategic planning meeting, assuring of the ministry's readiness to discharge its regulatory roles without favor. Olumide said officers of the ministry and its agencies had been advised to remain conscientious and to support illegality, as any officer found culpable would be dealt with according to laid down rules and regulation. He also said various avenues had been provided for the people to whistleblow, including through direct report on the office or to the office of the Commissioner for Physical Planning and Urban Development, as well as the Lagos MPP and UD app on Google or iOS, and the ministry's hotlines 0703 0653 241 and 0803 4698 264. The Minister of Communications, Innovation and Digital Economy, Bosun Tijani, has announced that telecom tariffs will increase, though not by the 100% being proposed by operators. Tijani stated this in a video shared on X. Telecom operators have proposed a 100% increase in their tariffs, pending government approval. The proposal submitted to the Nigerian Communications Commission seeks to address rising operational costs, including inflation and higher service delivery expenses. Speaking after a stakeholders meeting in Abuja, the minister highlighted the importance of proper regulations to ensure the telecommunications sector's sustainable growth. He emphasized the need for a balanced approach to support the industry amid global inflationary pressures. The commandant of the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps, NSCDC, Federal Capital Territory Command, Olushola Odumosu, has called for the regulation of the scraps market as well as stricter laws and harsher penalties to tackle the persistent problem of infrastructure vandalism in Abuja. Odumosu, while making the call, highlighted the challenges faced in curbing the menace. Speaking on the challenges faced by his team, Odumosu revealed that the current penalties imposed on offenders are insufficient to serve as deterrents. He explained that many arrested vandals often return to the streets shortly after their release, repeating the same offenses due to the leniency of the sanctions. Odumosu noted that the lack of severe consequences had created a cycle of recurring offenses, undermining efforts to secure critical national assets and infrastructure. He called for stricter sanctions, including longer jail terms and higher fines, to ensure that vandals are adequately punished and discouraged from returning to their illegal activities. Now to the rest of the stories. Federal lawmakers have canvassed the release of more funds for capital projects in last year's budget. They decried the low level of fund released for capital projects to ministries, departments and agencies, MDAs. According to them, the executive should take advantage of the extension of the 2024 budget till July 30 to make more funds available to execute capital projects. Members of the Joint Senate and House of Representatives Committees of Appropriation made this position known during an interactive meeting with ministers and top government officials in charge of the economy. The interaction is a prelude to the defense of the 2025 budget estimates by MDAs due to start next week. Chairman of Senate Committee on Appropriation, Solomon Adeola, and his House of Representatives counterpart, Abubakar Bishi, led lawmakers to meet with the Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Wale Edu, Minister of Budget and National Planning, Atiku Bagdu, Minister of State for Finance, Doris Zoka Anite, Director General of the Budget Office, Tanimu Yakubu, and the permanent secretaries of the Ministries of Finance and Budget and National Planning in Abuja. The federal government has reiterated its commitment to fulfilling its obligations to the payment of full compensation to communities displaced as a result of the construction of the 700 megawatts hydroelectric power project in Zungeru, Niger State. The government emphasized the need for genuine identity of the affected communities, as over 300 communities have come out to lay claims for compensation and resettlement out of the initial agreed figure. The minister Minister of Power Adebayo Adelabu made the position of the federal government known when he met with the Compensation and Resettlement Committee of the Zungeru Power Plant in his office in Abuja. While appreciating the gesture of the host communities and that of the Niger State government in locating the power project, Adelabu decried a situation where communities within the location of the power project will all come to make a claim for compensation over the location. According to the minister, there were only 133 communities that were identified by the Ministry of Power when the Zungeru Power Project was to be sited. He expressed surprise during the engagement when over 200 communities were added to those originally slated for compensation and resettlement. The federal government has proposed 1.1 billion naira in the 2025 budget for the long-delayed National Population and Housing Census, marking an increase from the 693.3 million naira set aside in 2024. Additional census-related allocations of 527 million naira were included in the 2025 budget, which is currently before the National Assembly for vetting and ratification. Nigeria's last census was in 2006, despite the United Nations recommendation that countries conduct population counts every 10 years. The national census, initially scheduled for May 3 to 7, 2023, was postponed indefinitely during the administration of former President Muhammadu Buhari. Now to foreign news. 5 people have been confirmed dead and more than 137,000 people evacuated in what has become the most destructive wildfire in Los Angeles history. At least 6 wildfires are now raging in Los Angeles and its neighboring Ventura County. The latest blaze in the Hollywood Hills forces more people to evacuate, including in areas dotted with celebrity homes. Firefighters are short on water and are resorting to taking water from swimming pools and ponds. Meanwhile, Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass has defended her absence from the wildfires when the wildfires broke out. She's also facing criticism amid reports she cut $17 million from the fire department's budget last summer. Now, sports. Quadri Aruna will kick off his New Year campaign as the 5th seed at the World Table Tennis WTT Star Contender Doha, which began on Wednesday with the main draw at the Lusail Sports Arena in Doha, Qatar. Aruna, who started 2025 as the second highest rated African, is ranked 21st in the latest ITTF rankings, just behind Egypt's Omar Assar, who is ranked 18th in the world. As one of the top-ranked players at the WTT Star Contender Doha, Aruna is seeded number 5. Doha has been a favorable venue for Aruna as he reached the semi-final stage at the 2022 edition, and he hopes to replicate or surpass that achievement this year. As one of the top seeds and the only African competing in the men's singles, Aruna has received a bye to the second round, where he's expected to face the winner between England's Liam Pitchford and Kazakhstan's Kirill Gerasimenko. And that ends our news at 10. Just before we go, stop for pedestrians at zebra crossing. You can follow us and like all our various social media platforms: X at Traffic Radio 961, Facebook Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM, Instagram Lagos Traffic Radio 961. Subscribe and watch our news and programs live on YouTube at Traffic Radio 961. You can also visit our website www.trafficradio961.ng. Did you know that the Sanwo-Olu administration organized a mentorship seminar for over 1,000 youths on the theme Agripreneur Strategy for Wealth Creation? You can get more details on the Lagos State Government website. To end the news, try the highlights of the major stories. Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu has charged the Nigerian Postal Service, NIPOST, to use technology as an enabler to enhance the ease of doing business in the state and Nigeria. Federal lawmakers have canvassed the release of more funds for capital projects in last year's budget. We also told you that 5 people have been confirmed dead and more than 137,000 people evacuated in what has become the most destructive wildfire in Los Angeles history. And in sport, Quadri Aruna will kick off his New Year campaign as the 5th seed at the World Table Tennis WTT Star Contender Doha, which began on Wednesday with the main draw at the Lusail Sports Arena in Doha, Qatar. For contact with the newsroom, send a message to info@trafficradio961.ng. That is news broadcast compiled by Abiola Fagbolagun. I am Dele Agadumo. Good morning. Thank you for listening.